We watch a thing. We watch a thing. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to We Watched a Thing. It's a special episode this week. Dave and I are recording at the crack of bloody dawn, which we do not do. But overnight, about 6 hours ago, Oscar nominations were announced, and we thought, hell, let's talk about this. So you were just telling me, Dave, that you have not looked at the nominations yet.
Haven't looked at anything. It's so early in the morning. I didn't even know there was an 8 o'clock in the AM. I don't know what happened. What's going on?
I don't know if you will be as upset as I am about some of these.
I'm expecting to be, but we shall see, I guess.
Before we get into the categories, would you like me to give you the breakdown of the films with the most nominations?
If you think there's going to be any surprises in there.
Okay, well, do you want to guess the film with the most?
Most, I would say Oppenheimer.
Yeah, Oppenheimer with 13, which, from my memory, that ties the record with
Titanic.
Yeah,
that's Titanic.
That's massive.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah, they're the only two 13s.
Number 2, I'm incredibly pleased with, but the surprise, to be honest, it got this many. Poor Things with 11.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it got that high a number, but very happy with that. Killers of the Flower Moon with 10, followed by Barbie with 8, and then rounding out the top 5 is Maestro with 7.
That's and then kind of where I thought things would be, although Poor Things higher, I didn't think it would be higher than Barbie.
The biggest shock for me, and really this comes down to us being in the Southern Hemisphere here, 3 of the most nominated films this year do not even have a release date set for Australia yet.
Can I guess what they are?
Go for it.
Or don't even have a release date.
Sorry, 2 of them don't have a release date yet. One of them does, but hasn't come out here yet.
We don't have May, December yet.
That's not in the list.
Oh, okay.
No.
I don't believe we have a release date for Zone of Interest.
Zone of Interest, yep, that's one of them. That's landed 5 nominations.
American Fiction,
American Fiction
anywhere.
Yep, 5 nominations. The other big one is Anatomy of a Fall, also 5 nominations.
Yeah, which is I know we spoke about this a little while back, where it was getting a lot of love and screenplay wise. Don't give me any hints yet as to whether that's the case. And we were both surprised knowing it was a German production predominantly, I think. Or German French. But I have actually caught that. And
you have?
It's predominantly in English.
Okay, all right, interesting.
So it makes a little bit more sense once you
know
that.
All right, shall we start with some of the smaller categories and build our way up to best? All right, let's kick it off with visual effects. I always like to do this category, being a visual effects artist myself. The nominations this year are The Creator, Godzilla -1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible - Dead Reckoning: Part 1, and
that's all practical.
and Napoleon. Surprised me to see that in there. Obviously, both my head and heart are with Godzilla -1. I think it's an outstanding achievement of cinema. But I would be just as happy to see The Creator win, I got to be honest, because, we spoke about this last week with Carney. That movie...
Phenomenal looking.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any different opinions there?
No, I mean, my head and heart are both with The Creator, because I think it's not to the same extent, obviously. I haven't seen Godzilla, so I can't comment as whether I would probably pick that based on, what is it, $15 million budget in total for that. I kind of feel my heart will, unless it looks like complete shit, and given that you love it, I know it doesn't, that's probably going to be my heart pick just based on the budget alone.
Yeah.
But The Creator looks bloody amazing for an $80 million film too.
Really does.
And I really, really enjoyed that film. So if either of those wins, I will be a pretty happy camper, I think.
Yep, agreed. All right, let's move over to cinematography, which is another category that I always like to check out. We've got El Conde, DP Edward Luckman. I have not even heard of this film. Do you know this one?
I've heard of it, but I don't know very much about it at all.
Yeah, right. Killers of the Flower Moon, shot by Rodrigo Prieto. Maestro, shot by Matthew Libatique. Oppenheimer, Hoyt van Hoytema, of course. And Poor Things, Robbie Ryan. I'm assuming that much like me, your heart is with Poor Things.
Yep, I'm with Robbie on that. I'm pretty dirty that Saltburn's not in there.
Me too.
I feel that's a sentence I'm going to be saying a lot this morning.
Yeah. You will. I've seen the nominations. You will.
Yeah.
As much as my as much as my heart is with Robbie Ryan for Poor Things, my head is telling me Oppenheimer's getting this. Yeah,
and it shouldn't. I mean, we all know Hoyt's the GOAT, but this is not his best work, and I don't think it's as good. Okay.
All right. What about some film editing, my friend? This is always one of my favorite categories to look at because there's so many different ways this can go, and typically it goes to most edited.
Yeah. How many cuts per second?
Yeah. But looking at the nominations this year, I'm actually surprised that I don't actually see too many of that in here. We've got Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. So I think for the most part, what they've done for the most part, 3 out of these 5 films are films that jump between timelines back and forth, being Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. And then I'm really surprised to see The Holdovers in this category, I have to say.
Me too. I'm very surprised. I thought, and I know it's not getting a lot of love really anywhere, and I haven't seen it, so I can't comment, but I'm surprised that this isn't one where Ferrari didn't at least get a kind of a courtesy nod for, what is a fairly big production.
Yeah. Let's be real. Where is Fast X?
It's in the trash heap where it belongs, Billy.
Certainly my heart is with Poor Things. I thought that was a really well-edited film. I would also be just as happy to see Flower Moon take it, I've got to be honest. I was surprised with the pacing of that film, and I'd be happy to see that win. Where's your head at? Are you thinking Oppenheimer or Killers?
Every one of the sort of semi-technical categories, unless there is a genuine standout. What generally happens in cases like this where you've got something with 1,000 different nominations is anytime there's a tipping point, it falls in favor of the thing that's nominated for everything. I think Oppenheimer, as my feeling is Oppenheimer is going to be this year's Titanic, and most of these things are going to fall its way.
It's an interesting one, though, because Titanic, I think, was a very rare year where that swept everything. Usually what happens is there's one film that's nominated for everything, but it wins Best Picture and Best Director and not much else. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen with Oppenheimer this year. Because we'll get to those categories later on. I wouldn't be surprised if Nolan took Director just like he did at the Globes. And sometimes when that happens, they don't get that many other awards. So I don't know. It'll be an interesting one to see.
Once you get beyond 11 noms, I think that it's that rarefied
that's true. Sweep. Yeah.
You're just the year's darling, and I kind of feel that's the case this year.
Okay. Well, let's get into production design. Our first nomination we discussed for Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. This is a really tough one for me because I am pretty split, to be honest, between Barbie and Poor Things. I actually think that the production design on both of those is crazy. Poor Things, very original. Barbie, obviously not, but the way that it executes is, I think, really gorgeous. Where are you for this?
My heart is Poor Things, as it is going to be on most categories, but my head is very much. I think Barbie is probably a lock for this because I think it's not going to get the love that it deserves in a lot of other categories. Because of the whole Barbenheimer thing. And I think where they can give it some love, they will. And I think production design is probably almost the safest of those. I think it's
I agree.
A lock as far as I think.
All right. Can we talk some animated feature films? Because I know that you at least were very shocked by the Globe win. So we've got, of course, Boy and the Heron, Studio Ghibli. We've got Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dreams, which is a film I've not heard of, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yep.
Like we spoke about with the Globes, I don't think Spider-Verse is taking it purely because I think they're going to leave that for the third of the trilogy. Yep. I'm pretty sure that this is going to The Boy and the Heron.
Yeah, I think it's going to follow suit. This is the final chance to award Miyazaki for a phenomenal career, and I don't see it going anywhere else. I
Yeah.
don't. I obviously we both agree it is not the best animated film of the year.
Yeah.
It's probably not even, and I haven't seen it, so I'm basing this on feedback from people I know and trust, including yourself. I don't even think it's the second best animated film of the year. That goes to the rather foolish animated Chair.
That was a great movie.
Susan May was a wonderful film. Look, yeah, this is going to be one of the categories where the almost assured win is not going to the film that really should take it. But there are, as we've spoken about, there are very logical reasons for that.
Yeah. I have to discuss this one with you because I don't feel like I've done a great job of keeping up on news around the Oscars and stuff lately, but I feel like this category has changed. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did it not used to be best foreign film, and part of the ruling was that it had to have a certain % of its dialogue not in English? I swear that used to be the ruling.
I thought that was the case.
Because this year, it's listed as international feature film, not as foreign film, and one of the films nominated is from the UK.
Oh, I was about to say that could just be a kind of a
political correctness thing.
We don't like the word foreign. That's all very Trump.
But surprisingly, Zone of Interest is up for nomination in this category, which my understanding is that film is in English.
I'm not sure. I mean, presumably it has an English writer. It's a Martin Ames written film, and obviously Glazer's in English. So I haven't even seen a trailer for it, so I don't know. But the cast, the primary cast are obviously all German. So, it may come down to funding, possibly. Possibly.
So the other nominations in this category are Lo Capitano, Perfect Days from Japan, Society of the Snow from Spain, and The Teacher's Lounge from Germany. I think this is going to either Society of the Snow or Zone of Interest, likely Zone of Interest, given that that's got so many nominations.
I very much want to see Society of the Snow, having heard our friend Paul Prezzulo just wax lyrical about how wonderful he thought it was. But the Zone of Interest appears to be a bit of a mini juggernaut in terms of the momentum it's picking up. And obviously, everyone loves Glazer. He's a bit of an award darling. I am absolutely shocked and appalled to not see Godzilla minus one up. And at least with this category, my understanding, again, unless it's changed, is that the countries themselves put forward their films that are nominated for this. And Japan has obviously put forward Perfect Days, which is fine. But I am shocked at the lack of Godzilla love in this entire nomination. It just seems crazy to me. I mean, it could come down to who, as you say, I wasn't aware that it was the nation that put it forward. I assumed it was just put forward by, whoever the studio or the producers of the film just made the decision. Oh, we reckon this has got a shot, so we'll submit it. And then someone at the other end went, we've got 3 or 4 films from Japan here.
Yeah.
These guys got it in first, so that's the one. I don't know. Or it could just be the fact that the Academy in general hates genre films because they're all assholes.
I think that must be it, because I'm just shocked to not see. I would have it up for Best Picture, and I don't want to give it away. I know we haven't got to that category yet.
And if you had your way, you could only be nominated for Best Picture if you had at least one kaiju.
Well, shall we talk some screenplays? Would you like to start with original or adapted?
Oh. Go original first.
All right.
Again,
here are the nominees.
I put my hand up. I still find the delineation between these categories so murky. No doubt there will be things in both categories that logically my brain thinks should be in the other camp.
All right. Well, here are the nominees for original screenplay. We've got Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May December, and Past Lives.
All right, so before we even get to anything else,
Is it Maestro that you're going to talk about?
and I did try and research this and found so many conflicting things on different websites. So you can be based on a real person's life.
Yeah, but if you're not based on a book
if it's
about
not
that
based
person's
on
life,
a single source, obviously you need to research someone's life. So you're reading stuff that other people have written about them, unless they're your best friend.
yeah,
But as long as you only read one thing, you're adapted. If you read 5 things to make your screenplay,
yeah.
you're not adapted. You're original.
But then,
Is it just me? Is that not utter bullshit?
Well, because then the bit where it gets really murky for me is that on the flip side, of course, Barbie is nominated under adapted, as I always knew it would. I told people from the start it was going to be under adapted.
But that also is bullshit because that entire story is original.
It is, but it's based on existing property, and that's the thing. You can
all sequels are adapted
all sequels are adapted. Yeah,
yeah, which is just even if the first film in the franchise was an original screenplay.
Yeah.
If you use one of those characters again? Do you need to use
I don't know what the rule. I don't know what the ruling is.
Murky
where do you go with spiritual sequels?
Lego sequels.
Yeah. So, I mean, I personally would love to see either the Holdovers or Past Lives win this category. I'm not convinced they're going to. I've actually not seen the other 3. We haven't got May, December, Maestro, or Anatomy of a Fall down here yet. So
there's so much love for Anatomy of a Fall, which I found good.
Yeah,
but I'm a 3.5 out of 5 on that film.
I think that there's a lot of love for it, and also at the same time, I don't think it's going to actually win that many other categories. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it take this. But I mean, geez, the Holdovers and Past Lives. I mean, I'd love to see Celine Song take it for Past Lives.
I'm very much in. My heart is with Holdovers for this. I would love to see it win.
Yeah.
I'm kind of weirdly, and we haven't. I haven't seen it, but I'm kind of thinking that Maestro may come in from left field.
Really? For this category?
Because I don't think it's going to win. I don't think it's got a genuine shot at too many other categories.
Yep.
And I think the Academy love Bradley Cooper. It's a kind of quote unquote big production.
Yeah.
About a, beloved figure from the American sort of entertainment landscape of the 20th century. It wouldn't surprise me if it came in and picked up something here.
Okay. Interesting. Well, let's move over to adapted screenplay, where we've got American Fiction, obviously Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. I'm surprised to not see Killers of the Flower Moon get a nomination here.
Me too.
But I guess it's a fairly stacked category.
It's, very.
I think this is one of the ones where Oppenheimer is not going to take it. I can't see it taking screenplay. I just don't think it's that well written.
I wish I had seen more about May, December. I know enough to know that I really want to see it. It's got people that I really like in it. I've heard nothing but really good things. And it seems to be held in very high regard. So part of me sort of thinks it's possibly one of the front runners.
That's up for original, not adapted.
Is it?
Yeah.
There's too many things we haven't seen yet, and I'm trying to remember what the fuck they are. It's the Todd Haynes, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what are the
American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I want Poor Things to win, and it's not going to.
No, I don't think it will.
Yeah. Where's your head on this one?
My head is probably going with Zone of Interest.
Yeah, I'm with you. Which I'm not unhappy. I mean, it sounds interesting. I haven't read anything about it other than the basic premise. But I do love Martin Ames as a writer. So between him and Glazer, just based on, knowing and liking them, I would be happy with it.
Yeah. All right, let's get over to the actors then. Let's start building our way up here. Do you want to start with actor or actress in supporting?
Let's start with supporting actor because I want to finish with actress.
Okay. Okay, all right. So you have not looked at these nominations yet, so you don't know who's been nominated. Okay.
I know.
What?
No. Go.
All right. Actor in a supporting role. We've got Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, RDJ, Oppenheimer, Gosling for Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things.
That is my 5 that I predicted. So there are 0 surprises there.
Okay. Yeah.
That is the 5 that I thought would be up. We've spoken about how good we thought Dominic Sessa was in Holdovers, but I knew first time he's ever acted in anything, he's never going to get into that stacked crowd. People will assume if he sticks with it, he'll be in for, same for there's the young boy from Anatomy of a Fall who also was sort of in the conversation. So you're not going to get a kid in when you've got all of these other big names there. My head and heart are both with RDJ. I think he was the best performance in that film.
Oh, my heart is 100% with Ruffalo, my heart. But I think head-wise, obviously, RDJ is taking it.
I will be absolutely delighted if Ruffalo wins. I think it's the best thing he's ever done. He is phenomenal in that film. But I found Downey Jr. unrecognizable in that. It took me half the film to even realize.
Yeah, right. Okay. Interesting.
I think it was an amazing performance.
Okay. I don't quite feel that way, but
I think he's a lock.
Yeah, I do think he's a lock. I think head-wise, it's going to him. Well, let's get over to actress in a supporting role, and I wonder if this will surprise you at all, because some of it does surprise me. We've got Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, America Ferrera for Barbie.
That's a surprise.
That's a big surprise for me. Jodie Foster for Nyad.
Apparently, it's the best monologue award now.
Yeah, Jodie Foster for Nyad, and
Jodie Foster. Who was the one before Jodie Foster?
That before that was America Ferrera, and the last one is Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers.
America Ferrera is a surprise. I expected Sandra Hüller to get in here for Zone of Interest.
Yeah, this just really surprised me, this whole category. I didn't see Emily Blunt being up for this role.
I expected her in there. I don't think she should be, but I expected her in there.
I honestly don't know who this is going to... I mean, I feel like the obvious choice for winner has to be Divine Joy Randolph, and she's where my heart is as well from this. Yep.
I think she's an absolute lock. And given the obscene absence of Rosamund Pike, she is my heart pick as well.
Well, look, I'm just going to tell you now, so you don't get too angry when we get to those categories.
I'm not
Saltburn has 0 nominations.
I thought it would have 1, but okay. It is being overlooked left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
All right, well, let's get over to leading role. Actor or actress first, mate?
Actor.
All right. Leading actor, we've got Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, another film that I have not heard of, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. This award is going to Cillian Murphy. I don't think there's any question about that. Do you agree?
Okay. No. My head and heart are both with Giamatti.
I would love Giamatti to win. That's where my heart is for sure.
I think it's. I won't be surprised if Cillian gets it, but I think this is one where, from what I've seen, things seem to be swinging slightly in Giamatti's favor.
Interesting.
It's kind of a 2-horse race, I think. But
we should make this a bet.
All right, at this, I mean, we've got just over a month.
Yep.
A month and a bit.
Let's think about something to bet on this, because I'm telling you, my heart is with Giamatti all the way, but I cannot see a world where Cillian is not taking this award.
All right. Oh, well, look, I'm prepared to lock it in now. Whoever wins can make the other one watch something, and we'll do an episode on it.
Yeah. All right. Well, over to actress then. Another category where I'm a little bit surprised by some things. We've got Annette Bening for Naiad, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan for Maestro. That surprises me, and Emma Stone for Poor Things. Heart is with Stone. Head is with Gladstone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't think Lily Gladstone is losing this award. I think that this is hers to take.
Oh, wow. So I'm still thinking that Emma Stone's got this. Lily Gladstone, again, it's a 2-horse race. Which is why I'm surprised Sandra Hüller wasn't in supporting, because I thought she was going to be a decent shot for supporting actress.
Yeah.
Based on the fact that she's up for both supporting and lead.
Yeah.
In 2 films that are both getting huge amounts of love.
Yeah.
And she's not getting either of them, because she's definitely not got a shot at lead actress.
No,
and she's not nominated for supporting, which is
what do you make of Margot Robbie not being nominated? I am actually surprised by that. I don't think she had a shot at winning, but I actually think that she was really great in that role, and I'm surprised not to see her here.
She was in my 5 predictions. So who's in there that I didn't expect then?
Well, for me, it's Carey Mulligan for Maestro. I didn't expect.
No, I had her in there.
And I've not seen Naiad, but Annette Bening.
Oh, yeah. No, I had. I didn't have her in my 5 for lead. I had Portman as a maybe.
Yeah.
I think Portman might have been my number 6, just outside the 5 for supporting.
Yeah.
I expected Margot to be in there for sure.
Me too, 100%. So I do feel like that's a little bit of a snub, to be honest. Barbie really only has like especially a very small handful.
But Barbie's not getting Best Picture.
Yeah.
And Robbie was kind of the prime mover and producer on that, as well as lead actress. I kind of thought she was a lock to get in as a nomination for lead actress, based on the fact that the whole world knows that is her film. As much as it is Emerald.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk some best directors then. We've got Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon, Nolan for Oppenheimer, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, and Jonathan Glazer, The Zone of Interest. Another interesting one. I am surprised not to see Gerwig in here. I don't think she was going to win. But
every other category that film's getting that and Saltburn are.
Yeah, because I would have loved to see Fennell for here as well.
Yeah.
I think Nolan is taking this.
Nolan is, I think, a lock.
I think that Scorsese's Flower Moon was actually a better film and a better directed film, and obviously my heart is with Lanthimos for Poor Things, which I think is just an astoundingly, interestingly directed film.
My heart is 100% with Yorgos. He should win. He's not going to. Nolan's going to win. If Nolan doesn't win, I think Scorsese will win. I don't think Yorgos has a shot in hell. That's just the injustice of the world that we live in. But I would be happier with Nolan over Scorsese, because I think Oppenheimer's a better film than Flowers and Killers.
Oh, I disagree. I know
you do. You're wrong.
Well, finally, let's talk some best pictures then. And given what we've discussed so far, I don't think you're going to be surprised by any of the films that are nominated in this category. We've got American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. The only one that actually surprises me is, and delightedly so, I'm really happy to see Past Lives in this category, given it did not actually get a lot of other nominations. But, I mean, this is a tough one. My heart is...
Was that 10?
That was 10, yeah.
It didn't feel like 10. It fell shorter. Okay. And no Saltburn. Doesn't even crack the top 10. Fuck you, Academy.
So my heart is with Poor Things, which was, of course, my number 1 of the year. I'd be just as happy with Past Lives taking it, or The Holdovers. They were all in my top 5. But my head is telling me that probably Oppenheimer is going to take this, as you said, given it's got 13 nominations. Yeah.
Oppenheimer is taking it home. Should be Poor Things, but it's not going to be.
Yeah.
And zero surprises based on what I've read in that 10. Saltburn's obviously a snub.
Yeah. Well, so let me ask, apart from Saltburn, which we've discussed, Robbie, Godzilla, are there any other in your head that are just like outrageous that they don't have at least a single or more nominations?
Not that I'm remotely surprised about. As you know, I was a huge fan of Flora and Son, the John Carney film, but it would probably have needed to go into, based on the nominations, the whatever they're calling foreign language film that's now just anything from overseas, apparently, whether it's in English or not. And Carney just is never on the radar in terms of awards. He's too small. So I can't think of anything else that I think is noticeably absent. Is there anything on your mind that should have been there?
They're the big ones for me, really. There was a film called Sisu, which I really liked, that I was surprised not to see in foreign. But
what would it be? In foreign language?
Yeah.
It's way too violent.
I know, but it's a lot of fun.
But when was the last time? Because that would be at what, NC-17 in the States?
Yeah.
When was the last time that you saw an NC-17 film in any major category?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was Joker not? Oh no, that was R, I guess. Yeah.
I think that was probably R. And for different reasons, it would have been for language or subject matter or something, not for buckets
just
of gore
gratuitous violence. But fuck, it was fun.
Yeah, it's a fun film. I would have liked to see just weirdly Evil Dead Rise get a nom for visual effects or a couple of those. Obviously wasn't going to win anything, but I think as the one or two minor faults I had with that film were nothing related to the quality of the production. I think it was just a really solid, polished piece of work. And anyway.
All right. Well, there we go. So I guess, we'll think about what we're betting on. And maybe we should come up with some bets for some of these other categories. But there you go.
We'll give it some more thought, and maybe in a couple of weeks we can put up our predictions and we'll see who gets when they're announced too.
For sure.
Who wins.
But there we go. That is this year's Oscar nominations. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back on Monday talking about The Iron Claw, a film which, I don't know, I didn't think would get any nominations, but a little bit of me is surprised to see that it didn't get anything. But there you go. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that at wewatchedathing.com or wewatchedathing@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, all under the handle at wewatchedathing. If you want to help support the show, you can do that at patreon.com/wewatchedathing, and we'll catch you next week.
And I'm not surprised it didn't get nominated for anything. No spoilers for the next episode. See ya.